Hello guys, Technologia here. You might have watched my previous top 10 with the most miserable Pokemon. This will essentially just be a video where I name 10 more miserable Pokemon. It's kind of like a follow-up list. I suppose these are less miserable, but still goes into the category of being very miserable. So let's just get right to it. At number 10 we have Whismur. Whismur is very timid. If it starts to cry loudly, it becomes startled by its own crying and cries even harder. When it finally stops crying, the Pokemon goes to sleep, all tired out. From Pokemon Sapphire. What would make you start crying if you were a Pokemon? I know that if I were a Pokemon, it would probably be something like my entire existence. If you're not wandering through the grass or in a cave or in the water, you're a slave fighter for someone who is using you for financial and personal gain. That would have me crying a lot. And if I were Whismur, my crying would escalate and escalate, putting me in a state of sadness and terror until I literally pass out from exhaustion. Realizing that that would happen every day for the rest of my life, that would also make me cry. At number 9 we have Numel. Numel is extremely dull-witted. It doesn't notice being hit. However, it can't stand hunger for even a second. This Pokemon's body is a seething cauldron of boiling magma. From Pokemon Ruby, Numel stores magma of almost 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit within its body. If it gets wet, the magma cools and hardens. In that event, the Pokemon's body grows heavy and its movements become sluggish. Being extremely dull-witted by your very nature has got to be depressing. But then throw in being totally unaware when you're being injured and completely unable to deal with being hungry for even a second, and you've got a recipe for total misery. Luckily, their body is literally full of lava, which wouldn't be too bad if only it didn't turn to rock the instant it gets wet, and makes it dumb constantly eating Pokemon who is, I can't tell if you're punching it really slow on top of everything else. At number 8, we have Cascoon. If it is attacked, Cascoon remains motionless however badly it may be hurt. It does so because if it were to move, its body would be weak upon evolution. This Pokemon will also not forget the pain it endured. Of all the Cocoon Pokemon, and whoa, there are enough Cocoon Pokemon to give that phrase substance, Cascoon has it the worst. And given that being trapped in a cocoon is one of the most horrifying conditions for any living being to go through, you are in a prison of your own making as your body mutates into something entirely new. Being the worst off is a pretty terrifying proposition. It has to play dead as it is attacked by, if lucky, its fellow Pokemon, and it retains every last detail of the pain inflicted upon it for the rest of its life. Well, at least it gets to have its vengeance when it evolves into a weak, poisonous moth. Cascoon, I'm sorry to tell you this, but those internet videos lied. It doesn't get better. Number 7. Sunkern. It is very weak. Its only means of defense is to shake its leaves desperately at its attacker. From Pokemon Crystal. Not sure if you noticed this, but shaking leaves desperately tends to be one of the most least effective ways to ward off predators. But when you're a sentient nut with no limbs, you do what you can. They say that it will appear before kind-hearted, caring people and shower them with happiness. From Pokemon Gold. All Togetic wants is to find someone nice and make them happy. Unfortunately, the reality of the Pokemon universe is that it will be captured by someone who is unquestionably not a nice, caring person, since they are totally cool with turning animals into their own personal battle minions. Number 5. Wigglytuff. Its fine fur feels so pleasant. Those who accidentally touch it cannot take their hands away. From Pokemon White 2. Wigglytuff, like Clefable, is another adorable looking Pokemon that is always seconds away from total misery. Imagine being a free Wigglytuff wandering through some tall grass. When some random bug trainer happens to accidentally bump into you, you know, that's it. That trainer will start rubbing up against your fur and not stop. They'll fill you up and there is nothing you or them can do about it. Your life is getting frequently violated by random passerby who literally cannot help themselves. Best case scenario, You get caught by one of these creepy trainers and only have to worry about one person getting too handsy with you from now on. Number 4. Garbodor. They absorb garbage and make it part of their bodies. They shoot a poisonous liquid from their right hand fingertips. From Pokemon White. Hey, remember that spoiled milk you threw out a couple of weeks ago? Pretty gross, right? Well, imagine a creature making it part of their body. Not drinking it or anything, but making it an actual part of their body. That's what Garbodor is. It's being made of your stinky, disgusting garbage. A constantly decaying, rancid abomination. And since Garbodors have genders, that means that Milkaton might end up as its genitals. Think about that. Number 3. Lickitung. Whenever Lickitung comes across something new, it will unfallingly give it a lick. It does so because it memorizes things by texture and by taste. It is somewhat put off by sour things. From Ruby and Sapphire. Its tongue spans almost 7 feet and moves more freely than its forelegs. Its licks can cause paralysis. From Pokemon Yellow. So, Lickitung can only really understand things by licking them. Not an ideal life, but not exactly something inherently miserable. Who knows if it might end up licking something poisonous, which is very likely in the world of Pokemon, given that it's an entire type of Pokemon. Oh, but wait, its huge tongue, which is about twice as big as its body, can also cause paralysis, which means the things it's trying to understand by licking might also accidentally lose the ability to move. Everything it comes in contact with, it might hurt in a horrible fashion. It's kind of like that owl from the Tootsie Pop commercial's nightmare. Number 2. Clefable. It has an acute sense of hearing. It can easily hear a pin being dropped nearly 1,100 yards away. From Pokemon Fire Red. Looking at Clefable, you'd assume it's as happy as could be. It's always smiling, it has big bright eyes that seem full of wonder, and its name indicates some sort of magical merriment. But it's not happy, it's miserable. It can hear a pin being dropped over half a mile away. Maybe this wouldn't be too bad in a world where pin drops were the loudest thing going on, but Clefable happens to live in a world where earthquakes are being caused on a frequent basis, sometimes right next to it, where kid trainers are shouting commands at it constantly, where there are even Pokemon who specialize in being loud as hell. Number 1. Satu. Satu stands rooted and still in one spot all day long. People believe that this Pokemon does so out of fear of the terrible things it has foreseen in the future. From Pokemon Ruby. Satu has the most horrible power of all Pokemon. Knowledge. Knowledge of an unthinkably horrible future. So terrifying that it is frozen with fear for its entire existence. Has it seen being shoved in the 3rd box of Bill's PC? Being trapped in a tiny ball for all eternity? Or perhaps the most terrifying possible future? One where it might be stuck as an HM slave. So that's it for the follow-up top 10. If you enjoy my content, I would like you to subscribe and favorite this video, all that stuff. Be sure to share it with all your friends. Regardless of that, I am thankful for your viewership, and I hope to make more content. I will see you guys in my upcoming new videos. Bye.